Good morning. This is the watercolor painting I want to do today on the greeting card. I'm calling it Morning Swim. And there's a poem that I will read to you in this video from Maxine Kumin, who was born in 1925. She passed away in 2014. The first lines of the poem say, "Into my empty head there come a cotton beach, a dock wherefrom I set out, oily and nude, through mist in chilly solitude." So that's the painting, and it looks unintentionally like my sister Doreen, who's no longer with us. But she loved to swim, and I didn't know I was painting a picture that would remind me of Doreen when I started. But it really does. Maybe I was somehow being visited or being... I don't know. I don't even want to guess or speculate. Let's just paint a picture, okay? What do you think about that one? It's easier, well, it's not as, I was gonna say it's easier than it looks. Maybe that's true. Put it this way, if you just take your time, you can pull off anything with art. I always say one thing, if you can see it, you can paint it, even if you're seeing it in your mind. Even if what you paint doesn't look exactly like what you see. You're not a camera, you're an artist. So make sure you have some feeling in your art. Make sure there's some kind of a sentiment that resonates with you. In this case, it's freedom. It's just feeling free. It's just out in the water and just enjoying the beautiful morning. That's really what I wanted to evoke with this painting. Let me show you how I did that. This right now. Okay? All right, well, let's start this one. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Let's just get the shape of the face. There's not much more than that because she's completely submerged in water. Just get the bottom there. Just try to get all these little areas that are going to be capturing the light. See if I can get that right. It's kind of a delicate little area here. Even though it's a pretty simple picture, I think the initial sketch has to be right. Swimming in the water, just taking in the morning swim. Wow, I'm not liking the way that's coming out there. Just get a nice little fine line here. I think I need to sharpen my pencil some more. This requires a fine tip. And it's got to be super light because it's the light reflecting off of her face that makes this picture, I think. So the pencil mark has to be almost non-existent, but you have to have something. Something to go by. A little hint of everything. A little hint of the hair. Falling back into the water. Sometimes I think when I do a piece of art that requires me to focus on it, then I don't talk as much. So if I'm not talking as much, I apologize. I do have a poem though today, and it's called Morning Swim. And I'll tell you who it's by. It's by Maxine Kumin. She's she's a contemporary poet, but she's no longer with us from what I was reading. Some of these spots on this young swimmer's shoulders and her collarbones, they're all reflecting the light from the morning. And the water is wrapping around her. And the ripples that she's causing are circling her. Just gotta remember all that in the painting process. Just to get out in the early morning, especially on a July day like today, to get out into the water, and especially if you can somehow manage to pull it off by yourself, be alone. I want this to be kind of misty because I want it to be the morning, so there's no defined thing here. But I think there's just some leaves here. I think that's our morning swimmer. That's our morning swimmer. But see right here. Gotta be very careful to put the light there. So let me lighten the pencil marks so that the water can do what it needs to do. Okay. There, I think I like it like that. Just give my sense a sense of her swimming. or enjoying the water. All right, well, I think the hardest part is done. Well, the rest of it has to be focused on. And to get that light, see, the light is reflecting off the very tips of everything on her face. Her chin, her nose, her eyelids, her shoulders here. So everything has to be light. So let's go ahead and put some orange color everywhere except for those places. We can always come back and do more. We get it very watered down. Very watered down. We'll come back to these. Right there's the light. And her cheek. And down here her shoulders. They're all lit. Everything's lit. Very, very little areas, her chin, her neck. The light is reflecting on all these things. And we can come back and make it darker, but right now we have to keep it light. And then of course we have to add the background. We have to add the water. So I see some light there. I have to keep that spot above her eye lit, above her cheek. So when I come in for the second layer, I have to be sure to remember to do that. Let me see if I can do it now. Okay. Make sure this light is hitting her. See how the second layer is working, I think. And her hair is dark, so I can go ahead and put that in there. I think we've got some of it pretty good. I'm not sure if I want to use the pen and ink for some of her features. See if I can get this without overdoing this. Spread this around a little bit more. Get her eye, her cheek, her forehead. Her nose, coming through, reflecting off of the surface of her face. We can come back later and change some of the tones. Okay, I think we got basically what we need from her. Now let's take the background. I'm going to go ahead and keep that orange in the brush because it's going to be morning. I want this to be a morning swim, which is also the title of the poem today. And let's see if we can make a misty kind of a feel here, right on the edge of the water. We'll keep everything dry on her face. Bring the water right up to the edge. Just bring it up right to the edge, so that we can keep it wet. The irony is she's in the water, and yet we don't want her face to get wet. It's funny. Okay, let's go ahead and add some blue to that. A little blue, a little bit of blue, I think. It's going to be a light sky, but it's going to be a dark, like a grassy area. Just let that happen like that. All right. Let's go ahead and add some of that dark yellow and green. I can make it dark. She's going to be somewhat backlit too, so I'm going to keep this dark right up against her. Let's hope we don't mess up. This looks like it'd be easy to mess up. I have to let that dry. I want to keep it like that. Just keep it like that. Very close. Yeah, there's some of the growth right there at the edge of the water. the water itself, I guess we'll try to make it somewhat of a very, very light wash. Because again, the morning mist is rising from the water, and it's all very light. Keep it white. You know, I didn't intend on this, but this woman sort of looks like my sister. Doreen is her name. I don't know if I've talked about Doreen on my channel here before. Doreen passed away when she was in her 40s, I believe. It's been a long time. She died in 2008. So I was 53, and she was 7 years younger than me. So she was 46, but she died young. She was a free spirit. Maybe that's who maybe I'm channeling Doreen here. Maybe that's what I'm doing. My sister, one time, I went canoeing on the river. It's unusual. It's a memory I'm having, maybe because I'm painting a girl who looks like my sister in the river. But anyway, so she was more of an outdoor person than I was. I loved being outdoors, but she actually embraced it. She actually would go out and camp in the woods. Like when I went camping, it was always like the KOA, you know, doing it safe. But she was more likely to do some of the primitive camping stuff. She had some wild boyfriends, that's part of it. But I think she was a little bit more wild than I was. And she and I went in a canoe one time. I'm pretty sure her little boys were with us. I think my son was with us too. And she brought some hot dogs. And she smoked, so she had a lighter. So she cooked some hot dogs on the side of the river. It's a fun memory. Gosh, I haven't talked about Doreen on my channel. Doreen died 2 weeks after our father died. And you know, when grief happens, sometimes it puts itself on hold. So I was already grieving from my dad dying. 2 weeks later, Doreen died. And I think I was numb. So I didn't cry until a few months later. And all of a sudden it came. All of a sudden I was thinking about Doreen, and it just happened for me. Anyway, I don't want to bring you down. I do have a poem about the morning swim. You want to hear it? It is called Morning Swim, and it is by Maxine Kumin. Maxine Kumin lived from 1925 until 2014. I believe she lived in New England. Here's the poem, Morning Swim. Into my empty head there come a cotton beach, a dock wherefrom I set out oily and nude through mist in chilly solitude. There was no line, no roof or floor to tell the water from the air. Night fog, thick as terry cloth, closed me in its fuzzy growth. I hung my bathrobe on 2 pegs. I took the lake between my legs. Invaded and invader, I went overhand on that flat sky. Fish twitched beneath me, quick and tame. In their green zone they sang my name. And in the rhythm of the swim I hummed a 2/4 times slow hymn. I hummed, Abide with me. The beat rose in the fine thrash of my feet, rose in the bubbles I put out slantwise, trailing through my mouth. My bones drank water. Water fell through all my doors. I was the well that fed the lake, that met my sea, in which I sang, Abide with me. It's by Maxine Kumin. Yeah. Alright, let's get back to this picture. We sort of have the composition done, but now there needs to be a lot more. I do think I'm going to use the pen for her eyelashes and her eyebrow. And then I'm going to have to make her a lot more dark. Everything has to be darker. So the risk when you're using the pen is that you can't change it once it's there. You can't really change it. Just be very careful not to overdo it. I think I'll put a little darkness here on her lip. There, it looks like she's smiling. I like that. And a little darkness behind her ear. Just enough. Everything else should be light. That's all I'm going to do with the pen. Now I'm going to take some of the brown, I think. Which one is brown? Is that the brown? I think so. Alright, I gotta be very careful here. Gotta darken everything. See, that pen and ink is gonna be good because it's always gonna be darker. It's always going to be darker than the watercolor. Let's make this darker. The edge of her nose. Keep some light on her cheek. Keep some darkness on her features here. Boy, it's so delicate. It's a real delicate art. I hope I'm still focused. I hope my camera's not going out of focus. Just really have to work this very softly and gently. Wow, this really looks like my sister. I hope they have a swimming area in heaven, because she would love it. She would love to be swimming up there. I hope there's a swimming area for me too. I really do. I don't know, I never heard about it. Where would I hear about it? Nobody talks about swimming in heaven. It's a funny thought. I don't know. Sometimes I'll say something in these videos and you guys will give me some really profound insight. That's what I love about this channel. I love that we have this community, and maybe something I say strikes a chord with you, or maybe you just like looking at the art. I do think there are those who don't hear anything because they watch the beginning and then they watch the end, and they're interested in how the art is done, which is absolutely fine. I know that. I do that too with a lot of the other artists I see on YouTube have only music. I tried that a couple times, but I like talking to you guys. I like the ones who talk. Just let me keep getting these colors. Well, not colors, there's hardly any color. It's almost all brown and orange. Just trying to create this feel that she's in the water and she's just free. Maybe that's what I was going for today. It's just to be free. Wow. You know, when I was younger, I always thought that I was going to be successful. And I never was. I mean financially successful. And Doreen was younger than me and she loved horses. And I always thought that one day I'll buy her a horse. One day I'm going to make money. I'm going to buy my sister a horse. I really thought I was going to do that. But I never did. It never happened. I did not become the wealthy guy I thought I was going to be. Well, financially wealthy. I am very wealthy. I have health. I have a wonderful son. I have a grandson who calls me Poppa. And I had a good life. But I didn't have a lot of money in my life. That's not complaining though. It's not complaining. Maybe it's a little bit disappointing because of the things I wanted to do with the money, which have nothing to do with owning a big house or fancy car or any of those things. It has more to do with what I was going to do for my mom and dad. I was going to send them on trips around the world. I was going to get Doreen a horse, you know, those kinds of things. Yeah. Those were the things I wanted to do if I had money. It's like in Elton John's song, Your Song, Bernie Taupin wrote, if it's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. And then he says, let me see, where does he say the part about money? Let me just go through the song in my head. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no. Or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. Oh. Anyway, at one part he says, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. Yeah. Well, that's not what I wanted. I really didn't. I still wouldn't want a big house. I mean, you can probably tell when you see the opening videos that Robin and I live in a small apartment. But it's enough for us. It's never too small. It's always fine. Even when my grandson comes over, or her grandson or her children come over, or my son, or yesterday we had a friend come over. There was enough room. Our friend had brought a dog with him, his dog. His dog was so big. I think it was a Jack Terrier, I think. But it was so beautiful and so playful and so just big. And he was just wanting to play and wanting to play and wanting to play. Do you remember, I think it was a movie called Fame. And in the movie Fame, there was a song. And in the song, the guy says, I want to go crazy like the dogs in the yard. I want to go crazy like the dogs in the yard. Isn't that a great line? I always thought that was a great line. I thought it was a great thing to want to be, to want to go crazy like the dogs in the yard. I think our picture's coming around, but I feel like I need to put more of her reflection in the water. So let me do some of that now. You can hear the morning traffic out there. Yeah. Does that look like it's reflecting? Maybe this is Doreen. Maybe she's coming through to me. I always wish I could. I don't know if I wish this really. I don't want to say I wish this. But you know, when you see these psychics and people on TV or on YouTube or TV, whatever, like the Long Island Psychic or, what's that guy, Edward something, and they say they can communicate with those who have departed. It's very believable. But then you see Penn and Teller, and they'll do something similar, and they'll tell you it's a trick. So it's confusing. It's hard to know what's real sometimes. Well, not with them. With that Penn and Teller, they tell you up front, it's not real. It's a trick. I always think that the guys who eat all those hot dogs are doing a trick. How can they squeeze all those hot dogs into their throat, into their gut? How can they do that? There's a little hint here of the neck and the ear. There's our girl in the water. Alright, let me make some of this background now a little bit different looking. I'm gonna take some very, very washed out green and put a background there behind her. Putting green behind Doreen. Let's mix it up with the brown. Let's see if I can get this in there without ruining it. Come on, let's get there right up against her face. There are ways to fix it if I mess it up, but it'd be so much better if I didn't mess it up. Once I get everything close to her face, I can there. There. I think I got it. I think I got it. A little bit down here. This is the most delicate part right here. I don't know what a surgeon has to do, but this feels like surgery. Yeah. Some trees over here, I think. Maybe there's some sunlight hitting some of these trees. Maybe it's early in the morning. Get some yellow in there. Probably would have some reflections in the water too. I kind of wanted it to be very misty. I don't know if I'm pulling off the misty part of it as well as I'd like to. This easily could be the Rainbow River, and that easily could be my sister. Try to make this a little misty down here. If I add some blue, maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help set it off a little bit. Just add a little blue in there. It's not really, you're not really sure why it's blue. It just is. Why does there look like there's blue in there? Somebody might say. Because the artist decided to put blue in there. You ever listen to the answers children give? Sometimes they give the most profound answers and the most true answers. It's like the little boy who points out that the king is naked. That's how it is. Kids sometimes see the truth. Sometimes as adults we don't see the truth. What's that line from that movie? You can't handle the truth. Well, I'll try to handle it. Alright, let me keep going down here with this. I kind of like the brown and green mix that's happening here. But I do think that this needs to be the edge. Right? About here. Maybe that's the shoreline that you entered the water through. Maybe I'll go ahead and use the water and try to create that misty effect here. Just like the idea of it being misty. Just like that. That's looking pretty misty, isn't it? Let the water kind of dissolve some of that paint and hide some of that background stuff. Take some blue, put it in here. Put some blue. Let the blue be part of the mist. Just get it very wet. Very wet. Let it seep into everything. The morning swim. Let me get it very wet. I think the rest of this picture is just to get it undefined and almost mysterious. I think I want this one to be mysterious. I think it is mysterious already. Trying to decide if I want to make her hair darker. A little bit. Just a little bit darker. I think that works. Wasn't sure if it would, but I think I like it. Alright, I think I'm done. I always say that, and then I keep working on it. I think I'm about done. I think I'm almost done. I think I am done. Except for spreading out that color on the back. I'm going to add a little blue to it also. Spread it out, scrub it out. Here we go. Morning swim. I'm going to call it morning swim. What do you think? I know you don't know my sister, but it looks like her. That's all puddled up right there. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to turn off the camera and dry it, and I'll be right back. Okay. Now let's fold it up, make it a card. I don't know who I will send this to. I don't know who. Wow, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and thank you for watching and for subscribing. I think I'm going to call this one Morning Swim, or maybe I'll just call it Doreen. Alright, thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.